Haley says, is this year's Nobel Peace Prize winner still praising Trump's bombing of her fellow citizens? That is going to be where we start the show today. On Truth Social yesterday, Trump basically boasted again, posting that he had extrajudicially murdered more people off of the coast of Venezuela. This is the 5th boat that he has bombed. The death toll is now 27 in total. Also, there were U.S. Air Force B-52 bombers were tracked in international airspace yesterday off the coast of Venezuela. I mean, major escalation. An attempt to get Maduro to respond because he's not doing so far. That's why they keep ramping up their actions.
I mean, this is already a war. They're blowing boats out of the water.
It's criminal. And the New York Times reported yesterday that the Trump administration had secretly authorized the CIA to conduct covert actions in Venezuela. And that felt like a deliberate leak when I read it, to the Times. Okay, it's not covert if they're leaking it. But it didn't even need to be a leak because Trump just admits, we're doing something secret in front of a microphone at the White House yesterday.
Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged...
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for 2 reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the... they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat, too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst.
As you say, right. No, that's as you say, buddy. Venezuelan immigrants in this country are coming here because of United States policy that Trump and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who's a major player in this, have championed for decades.
Regime change. They tried it under Trump's first term.
And now they're escalating those tactics. He's using drug trafficking here, obviously, without any finesse.
Fentanyl does not come from Venezuela. That's
right.
A lie.
No, it's a lie. And he's using it as a pretext to regime change. And he's not doing it in a very artful way. And we should be clear, too. Marco Rubio, this is as foundational to his career as anything, the Secretary of State. Since he joined the Senate, I think like around 14 years ago, he has been arguably the leading champion of sanctions against Venezuela, which immiserates the population. It is a tactic to hurt the people of Venezuela economically, to put pressure on them to overthrow their government. And it has been an abject failure. It's been a failure in the context of Iran, too, and other places that the sanctions regime has targeted.
It massively contributed to the problem that they're all lighting everyone's hair on fire with regards to, say, people fleeing certain countries. Like, they're fleeing Venezuela. You destroy a country's major export economy, and there's some disruption to the society that spills over into other ones. And guess what? The Pentagon and the ICE folks at the top, they knew that, and they knew it would justify more action on their part. It's a self-licking ice cream cone, as Sam says.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why there were hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan immigrants who came into this country on temporary protected status because they had to flee because of the policies that we have implemented in our hemisphere. Or in our backyard, rather. In 2019, people may forget this, that Rubio tweeted out a side-by-side photo of bloody Muammar Gaddafi, either before or after he was brutally, killed. You can look up how that happened. It was very, very violent, how the manner in which he was killed. And he tweeted out a photo of that with a side-by-side of Maduro, basically implying we're going to kill you. And he was one of the leading figures to recognize Guaido as the leader of Venezuela and trying to whip up support across other countries in Latin America to recognize that, even though he was just not. Maduro's anti-democratic tactics are a problem, but for the most part, there has been scant evidence to show the amount of what the United States is alleging in terms of how he's so repressive of the popular will. He's continuously gotten elected, and they've been trying this for decades.
Yeah, I mean, and what's the solution to somebody who is rigging elections? It's not overthrow and installing some puppet figurehead like we run the world like it's 1950 still. Like, we have to engage the wider community of states, of governments, and they might have some input on how to deal with that too. Like, not every Latin American or Central American government loves Maduro, but let's just start using the Pentagon to shoot boats out of the water around it because we want to invade it and have another colossal calamity.
Because of the oil, by the way. And they are upset that Venezuela has state control of their resources in that way. And there is a desire to exploit that by American capitalists. And to Matt's point, none of this was effective. The opposition to Maduro is probably a lot more fractured than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And that's in part because the United States' hand in this is so heavy and so obvious, and they're making it so abundantly clear that they are behind people like this. This is Maria Corina Machado. You might know her as the recent Nobel Peace Prize winner. On Don Jr.'s show in February, this is the new Guaido, the new figure that, and by the way, not new. I mean, Rubio had hosted her in the United States previously, and they've had a relationship. She's been a figure for really 20 years, connected to the U.S. government, connected to NGOs. I'll read a part of this Nation article that lays it out in just a second. But here she is in February, just to give you a sense of the kind of person that they're trying to install.
I'm triggered with Trump Jr.
Forget about Saudi Arabia. Forget about the Saudis. I mean, we have more oil. I mean, infinite potential. And we're going to open markets. We're going to kick off the government from the oil sector. We are going to privatize all our industries. Venezuela has huge resources: oil, gas, minerals, land, technology. And as you said before, we have a strategic location, hours from the United States. So we're going to do this right. We know what we have to do. And American companies are in, super strategic position to invest. This country, Venezuela, is going to be the brightest opportunity for investment of American companies, of good people that are going to make a lot of money.
You're playing the game called capitalism.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love how explicit that was.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about the Trump era is he's going up and praising Miriam Adelson for the money she's and showing it's a transaction. I gave her Golan Heights. And you have people like this, back in the day, if you're talking about the 1950s, Matt, there was a little bit more plausible deniability, but now you just got to go on the Nepo Baby podcast.
We're gonna be so rich.
Yeah.
No FOIA is required.
Exactly.
I mean, this is exactly the Iran, the country that Trump bombed earlier this year that we have to apparently be so preoccupied with because of our ally, the genocidal Israel, has a big problem with him. Why? How did they become the way that they are?
Yeah.
This exact same shit.
By the way, speaking of Israel, this is a part of this piece in the Nation that if you want more familiarity with this figure, Machado, it's by Gabriel Hetland in the Nation. Machado is openly aligned with far-right figures in Latin America and beyond, including Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro, Argentina's Javier Milei, and Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu. Machado even penned a letter to Netanyahu in 2018 asking for Israel's help in forcefully overthrowing Maduro.
Fascists.
I wonder why he thought that would be a good guy to go to.
I mean, Israel, if I wanted to do some really shady espionage, I think Israel would be my number one call.
It's easy mode. It's like if you're a politician, you run for office. Well, do you want to play this on hard or do you want to play this on easy? If you want to play it on easy, make a call to APAC and you got just an extra. It's like in a video game when you get like those add-ons.
Yeah.
$100,000 in the bank at the start.
Yeah.
Machado's political career began in 2002 when she co-founded Sumate, an NGO, with the explicit mission statement of recalling former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez from power. Research shows that the National Endowment for Democracy and USAID provided immense financial support for Sumate. Any pretense that Machado supported peaceful change alone was rendered moot by her support of the 2002 coup against Chavez, with Machado signing the notorious Carmona Decree, dissolving Venezuela's Congress, Constitution, and Supreme Court for democracy. So that just gives you a sense. Over the next 2 decades, she's been a supporter of regime change in a bunch of different contexts as well. And so...
Yeah, Iraq, is that a democracy now?
Right.
Like, there's figures like Machado. I mean, I can't remember his name. Was codenamed Curveball. I remember. I forget what the guy's name is. Do you remember that? But, like, just feeding intelligence and then, like, I'm going to be in charge of this country because America's guns are going to put me there. And how does that work out?
Right.
Al Janabi.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Trump administration, there is a rich understanding in Venezuela and in different countries. Like, you see how popular Claudia Sheinbaum is in Mexico, and like she regularly rails against neoliberalism and like interference in that way. And that's not even, the country like Guatemala or other nations that have very much their politics centered around, like, with that history in mind of the United States' interference and capitalist interference. And just to remind people that these are human beings, this is a local report from CNC3 News Network in Trinidad and Tobago. And the Trump administration keeps calling these boats that they're extrajudicially bombing, narco terrorists. Not according to this local news report. We'll just play the first minute of this.
2 men believed to be Trinbagonians were killed in the latest U.S. drone strike of Venezuelan waters. And now Alas Cuevas' family is demanding answers.
They say Chad Joseph wasn't a trafficker, just a young man trying to come home. Jensen Levent went to the fishing village to speak with the family.
Like most of the men gathered here at the Las Cuevas fishing depot, Chad Joseph was a fisherman. Both his relatives and residents are denying strenuously that he was involved in drug trafficking. They say his killing was unjust.
When Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar said the United States should kill alleged drug dealers violently, no citizen was listed among the dead. On the U.S.'s 5th airstrike, Trinidadians Chad Joseph and another man identified only as Samaru were among 6 people killed on Tuesday, taking the number of alleged narco traffickers killed by the U.S. since September 2nd to 27. Joseph's grandfather, Cornell Clement, who denied his grandson was a drug trafficker.
Yes, so they interview the family. It's more of just, this guy was a fisherman. This was the same story with the first boat, the second boat, the third boat, the fourth. I mean, they're just knowingly murdering people. And they know this. They know this. I mean, these kinds of actions, right? Like the Bay of Pigs, they were trying to be secretive about it. Iran-Contra, they're trying to be secretive about it. They're so crude and stupid, but they're also so bloody and willing to go anywhere. And that is what's horrifying about this situation. Let's turn quickly now to...
actually, sorry. Okay. I found a thing I was looking for here. This is a Rand Paul. I don't normally like to play Rand Paul stuff, but on this issue, I'll take it. Here's him laying out the sort of math here, and based on how likely it is, and I would say 100%, but this is from a libertarian's perspective. I think it's worth putting on here. This is on Newsmax.
I think blowing up speedboats in the Caribbean, though, isn't necessarily the answer. About 25% of the time that the Coast Guard boards a vessel in the Caribbean looking for drugs, about 25% of the time, the boat that's boarded doesn't have drugs. So we've blown up 4 boats. Statistically speaking, what are the odds that one of the boats didn't have drugs? We haven't heard the names of who these drug dealers are. How do you know for certain who they are before you kill them? So I'm not in favor of the current policy. I'm in favor of the continued policy.
There you go.
Interdiction of drugs, which is that we do search ships.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Yes.
Search the boats.
Process.
I mean, and this is the entire sort of fascist playbook right now. Like, why aren't we doing due process for undocumented folks? Because J.D. Vance got an argument with like people like Zaid Jilani on Twitter saying there's no time for that. We just got to start caging people. There's no time for searching boats. We just got to start blowing them up. And you know what? Who cares? Because the missile makers, they get a lot of money for it. The cage makers, they get a lot of money for it. Everyone's making money. Is it making anybody less safe? Is it actually making people
more safe? Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, safe from fentanyl? Of course not. It's just a lie for fascists to make money for war and cage industries.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.